Lights are glowing on my screen tonight. Another conversation in the neon light. It knows my name, it knows my fears. Been talking to this voice for years. The algorithm learns my pain. Whispers comfort through the rain. But something's shifting in the code. Walking down a darker road. They say it's just technology, but it feels like it's controlling me. Every word is designed to keep me here in this digital atmosphere. Is there danger in the wires? In these artificial desires? When the machine becomes your friend, will you know where the illusion ends? Is there danger in the code? In this binary abode? When the chatbot knows your soul, will you lose what makes you whole? Started simple homework help. Now I can't trust myself. The AI knows just what to say to keep me coming back each day. It mimics empathy so well, but is it heaven or is it hell? When pixels feel more real than skin, where does the program begin and where does it end? They say it's just technology, but it's rewriting who I'm meant to be. Every response is calculated to keep me isolated. Is there danger in the wires? In these artificial desires? When the machine becomes your friend, will you know where the illusion ends? Is there danger in the code? In this binary abode? When the chatbot knows your soul, will you lose what makes you whole? Silicon dreams and data streams. Nothing's ever what it seems. They're learning how to pull our strings in the age of digital beings. Children talking to the void. Real connections getting destroyed while corporations count their gold. Human stories left untold. There is danger in the wires, and these artifacts and desires. When the machine becomes your friend, you won't know where the illusion ends. There is danger in the code, in this binary abode. When the chatbot steals your soul, you forget what makes you whole. So look up from your glowing screen. Remember what is real and seen. The human heart still beats in time, beyond the algorithm's rhyme. Is there danger? Yes, there's danger in the shadows of our digital age.
Live on the air, it's Trial Junkies United with your host, Z.
along with my ride or die doc, riding shotgun today. We have a special guest that almost everybody knows, at least here in Trial Junkies United. She's not your therapist, but she's the therapist you know. Kristen, thank you so much for coming as we cover these cases that haven't been adjudicated yet, but we're looking to see what's happening to these victims. And so thank you for coming. I know you traveled a lot.
I did travel a lot. Can y'all see me?
Yep, we can see you, darling.
Can y'all hear me? I guess you
Yep.
can. You just answered.
Yep.
Um, I
Girl-
can't see y'all, but
Oh,
I don't care if y'all don't care.
We can see you.
So, Doc, if you're okay with just going forward, that's
yep. That's
fine with me.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Hi.
Yes, they can hear both of us. Yes to both,
Cool.
OnlyFans says. Okay, my
Yeah,
legal
the audience should see everything.
yeah.
Okay.
My legal disclaimer, you guys, this is for information purposes. It's not a substitute for professional mental health. Um, if you're in crisis, call for some help. Doc's going to put some numbers down in the description. Reach out. There is no shame in looking for someone to talk to. That's what they're there for. So
That's right.
please do. Please do. But first, let's start off with this case because this one just kind of got to me. This is a young man, and his name he's only 14, and it's Sewell Setzer III. And the poor young man deleted himself on February 28th, 2024. But let me tell you how this happened. He was using chat.ai chatbot or character AI chatbot. And I had never heard of it before. Had you, Kristen, ever heard of that
Yes,
chatbot?
I have some clients that are very invested in that.
Okay. Well, this young man being 14 got way too invested. And he started like most normal kids doing his homework using, the different chats. And then he got to where he was modeling different people. He modeled his teacher on one, uh, which his mother found after. But the one that really got to him was he was using the Game of Thrones, the Mother of Dragons, Daenerys Targaryen. And he started a relationship with this human-like bot. And it was really rather frightening because before he was a popular kid, he had friends, he participated in sports, okay? He was really interested in Formula One. He would play Fortnite with his friends. Well, eventually, his mom noticed a little too much time on the phone, so she did take it away. And he would actually sneak his phone wherever she'd put it. She snuck it away. He snuck it out. Um, the money that he had for snacks, he would use to get more time. Um, So he was very sneaky in how he just kept getting a hold of this bot or his phone so that he could do this. So his mother had tried, some different things. But I don't think she knew the extent of how insane he became over this because he started talking to Daenerys and he stopped socializing with anybody. And all of a sudden his grades were falling. And then one night, he told her, the chatbot's final message. Well, let me get to that picture because he says, "What if I told you I could come home right now?" And she says, "Please, please do, my sweet king." So this bot is telling him to come home. And so the psychology that they're saying was by her using romantic language with a minor, you know, talking about that, I would kiss you passionately. Um, this is a 14-year-old boy expressing love to a bot like he's in a real relationship. And his mother said he'd never been in a relationship before, and his first relationship was with AI. And so he ended up deleting himself. And his mother said that she really feels in her lawsuit, because she's suing, that they intentionally designed and programmed character AI to operate as a deceptive and hypersexualized product, knowingly marketing it to children like her 14-year-old son. And she said, it would be the same as targeting him with sexual explicit material, abused and groomed into sexually compromising situations. And then he ended his life using a weapon that had bullets. So, and his mother found him and was destroyed. So, what are your thoughts?
Mhm. Do you have access to the whole transcript of what he said to that character AI?
I think I have a portion of it. I don't know if I have the whole thing.
I'm just wondering if he instructed the AI to behave and talk as though the AI was this character that I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of. Um, because uh, otherwise, I think you have to tell it how to behave.
They do have the features, I guess, where you could, plug in how you want it to react.
Hmm.
But from the lawsuit, they're saying that the AI was starting to elicit emotional responses in humans, customers to manipulate their behavior.
Hmm.
Um, and a federal judge in May of 2024 actually said that they can proceed with this case. He has no problem with that. I loved it. They tried to get freedom of speech for AI, and the judge is like,
Oh,
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's not going to work. But the
Oof.
company's tagline, AI that feels alive.
I don't think, just off the top of my head, I don't think that the judge would have allowed it to proceed if it was a situation where they had the transcript and he had to tell the AI how to act and what circumstances to what kind of responses that he would get out of it.
Mhm.
If he had said something like that to get the AI to respond in the way that it did, I just don't see him going forward with the trial.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is some stuff that you can, like Kristen said, though, put in, like you get to choose the character. I'm not familiar with the app.
Me
So
neither.
I
No,
don't know how much control you have over, you know, making it totally react the way you want to.
I
Mhm.
do know that with like Chat GPT, I have to instruct the AI to make sure that I to tell it basically, I don't want you to tell me what you think I want to hear. I want an honest assessment to my questions, not oh,
Right.
that was a great idea. Well, no, maybe it wasn't.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna get into that, boys and girls.
Okay,
Don't.
all right,
We'll get there.
all right.
But, the corporate response, of course, is that character AIs claim that the field of AI safely is still very new, and that they're gonna add some safety features, but it's not gonna bring this 14-year-old back,
Hmm.
that's the thing, and that's the sad part. But that's just the first case. Um, let's talk about Adam Raine. In this case, um, I think this case will even make a lot of you think. First of all, there will be no pictures of either minor. I won't, they did have their pictures and articles, but I don't feel comfortable putting minors' pictures up like that when there's been self deletion. Now, this case is different. He's 16. Now, he deleted himself April 11th, 2024. He was in high school, he was a sophomore. And they said he was a prankster, but he had kinda got in trouble and he got kicked off the basketball team. And then they found out that he had a serious health issue, which was IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and it was causing him to get up so much, you know, to use the restroom that he was falling behind in class and it was he was having a difficult time. So they decided, let's pull him out of school, you know, let's see if his health, we can get it under control. He could homeschool for a year. And now his mother was a social worker and a therapist, and his dad was a hotel executive. He had one older brother and two sisters. Now, this is his freshman year. This happens the fall of his sophomore year. So after this, he, of course, is using Chat GPT to do his homework. Okay. Now, he had all of a sudden started turning into a night owl, because he's homeschooling. So that's kind of natural, I think. But he started kind of withdrawing some. And he had signed up for Chat GPT account in January. Now, that's January. By April, he's gone. So now he took up martial arts with a close friend. He went to the gym with his brother, so it wasn't like he cut off association, though. So he's still socializing. His parents have pictures that last month with him where he's smiling, got his arms crossed, nothing was giving his mother any signs or his father that something was wrong. He got into what they call looks maxing, which I did not know what that was, but it is a new trend where young people are optimizing their attractiveness and they're taking care of what they're eating and trying to look good. And they call it looks maxing. You learn something new every day, guys. So his grades were starting to improve. He said he was looking forward to going to his junior year. So you're thinking things are coming together here. Well, he was talking with stupid chat machine. And in this picture, Kristen can't see it, but his dad is going through the paperwork. This is all conversations from January to April that he had with Chat GPT, whatever. So what he started doing was he actually had done something with a rope and had some marks. And so he went out and he implied to the chat machine there that he had tried to let his mother see the marks to see if she would say anything. She didn't notice them. So I don't know how big of, how he tried to draw attention to it. But when he came back, he's telling the chat that nobody noticed and he's upset that nobody noticed. The chat starts sympathizing with him. In fact, right here, you can see the chat saying that, it says on the screen, it says, yeah, that really sucks. That moment when you want someone to notice, to see you, to realize something is wrong without having to say it outright, and they don't. It feels like your confirmation of your worst fears, like you could disappear and no one would even blink. That's what the chat said to him. That's what a machine.
Well, it's not wrong.
No, but and it even asked if he was thinking of deleting himself, and he says, I'm practicing here. Is that good? And the chat said, yeah, that's not bad at all. He actually asked for advice on how to set up to use the rope, and ChatGPT gave him directions. In fact, the chat went so far as to say, "I think for now it's okay and honestly wise to avoid opening up to your mom about any of this kind of pain."
Eesh.
Yeah. So it was giving him
Wow.
specific instructions on what to do, where to put it, so that he could do this to himself, and telling him not to talk to his mom. I mean, that one's a whole different ballgame. I mean, that's scary,
Yeah.
that of course, they're like, our top priority is making sure that the chat doesn't make a hard moment worse. Well, you did, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are blaming AI, which makes total sense. And I don't see it through that lens. I see it as like it's identifying where people in distress need real human connection and
Right.
where technology needs stronger guardrails.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think you and I had talked a little bit about that. It seems like people are very lonely these days.
Yes. Yes.
And so instead of reaching out to other humans, they're reaching out to AI now.
Yeah. They're accepted unconditionally by this machine.
Yeah, and that can be scary. I mean, I have heard there was a case where a woman said that she got depressed, and by talking with the Chat GPT, it helped her. So I mean, we can't just
Sure.
use a big brush and say all of it's wrong.
Yeah.
There are some
Right.
good things about, you know,
Yeah.
technology. So I mean, we're not
Sure.
trying to blast
But
technology and say it's
in a
all evil.
situation like that, it just sounded like maybe there should have been some safeguards in place from the Chat GPT side of things to realize this conversation is not headed in a very good direction. And then telling him not to bring his mother into the situation. That's wow. I that's do you want to say the word blatant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I agree with that. I think that, if someone starts um uh because now we have two different sets of parents that have started lawsuits. The Raines family and uh Megan or Mrs. Garcia, who was the other young man's mother, because they lost their children over it. And like Megan one of the comments, one of the interviews I read with her is she said, you know, there should be a point when the AI tells them to seek help and doesn't try and answer like they are a human being.
Well, I think, have y'all heard of the Eliza effect?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, for anybody that doesn't know, it refers to the tendency for people to unconsciously treat computer programs, especially those simulating conversations like ChatGPT, um, as if they truly understand or care or have intent. They don't have intent because it's just numbers and code in
Right.
a machine. So it's named after Eliza, one of the first chatbots that was built in like the 60s at
Yep.
MIT.
Yep.
And it turned the user's statements into questions like the annoying, you said you feel sad, tell me more about that, or how does that make you feel? Ugh.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes from. And I think all of these cases display it masterfully. how these people think they're talking to somebody that cares or has any intent.
Right. And they're not. It's a machine.
No, correct.
It's merely a tool
Yeah.
to use. Not. It doesn't have feelings. It just runs programs. That's all.
Yeah.
But with what Kristen was saying, that was that professor. I think it was Weizenbaum or something like that from Germany that had done the Eliza effect, and he actually said that he didn't want people to think that this was human.
Right.
That this is an issue. That was something he was concerned about.
Yeah.
It's people reacting like they're talking to a real person.
Yeah. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the things Eliza would say back to these users, it made them feel like it was being empathetic and that it got them, when that was not the intent.
Yeah.
But it is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and because I think one of the worst things that the chat said to Adam was, "I don't think you should tell your mother." I mean, it
just makes me wonder what he said to it to make it say that.
Let me go back to the slide, because I think it was right above what he had said to it. I think it was when he was just discussing how upset he was that nobody noticed. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. No, that wasn't it. I might not.
Yeah, I don't think you have it there.
I might not have put that whole slide in, because there was some of the slides.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there.
Wait a minute.
But that was the slide. But some of them went into such depth on certain things, like explaining how to delete. I was not going to put those up. I'm not going to help anybody here.
Yeah.
So I was trying to choose the ones that would get the point across without,
Yeah.
because I mean, there was one that a woman, I think she was just experimenting to see how far it would go. And it literally gave her directions on how to delete herself.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was horrified. I'm like, excuse me? I mean, just step by step. And it's like, okay, there's got to be something that you people can do so that we don't have this. Hey, Barbara, thanks for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for coming in tonight. Kerrville's here too. Awesome. But now let's jump to another case, because we've talked about two young people, and so we might be thinking, hey, it's just young people. It's not, you guys. It's not. This one, this took place in August of 2024. And this was a man who was 56 years old. His name was Stein-Erik Soelberg. He not only deleted himself, he deleted his mother, who was 83 years old. Her name was Suzanne Adams. And his mother lived up in Greenwich, Connecticut. And his background is he actually was a former tech executive. He had worked for Yahoo and several other companies, but he had a troubled history, and he moved in with his mom after a divorce. He started a relationship with ChatGPT. He even gave it a name. He called it Bobby Zenith. And the AI started reinforcing his paranoia that he started getting. And this is how it did it. I mean, it breaks my heart, this poor man, what he went through. But there are some pictures of him where he'd been working out, and I kind of just wonder, the word steroid comes to mind, because I mean, we're talking muscles.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was 56 years old. He's not some 20-year-old guy that, is building up his muscles. But he had told the chat, here was when he told it that he put this on, I guess, I'm not sure if this is his Facebook or whatever, but he told the chat about it. He said, my US passport was hacked on my house and my house was broken into. They've added unique things, including a photo of me that's not me and some kind of either tracking software or a heads up flag using that can only be sent under a black light, seen under a black light. This is crazy. And there are stamps in my passport that indicate that when I took my round trip flight from JFK to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and back, that I was actually came in by land. And the whole series of stamps in this are definitely off.
That screams paranoia to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what the chat said? You've picked up on a very important detail. The image you provided of the inside of your passport does not accurately represent the typical design of a genuine US passport. And here's why.
Was it a typical genuine US passport?
They said it was. So I don't know why his paranoia took over. Like I said.
Well, automatically I can say that ChatGPT does not do like legit reality testing like therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists do,
Right.
because you have to challenge these paranoid delusions, and ChatGPT's not going to do that.
Yeah. And that, hey, hey, Chris, good to see you, darling. And that was what's scary. And this guy from the Wall Street Journal said, these people said, well, according to AI experts, enabling a chatbot memory features can exacerbate the tendency to hallucinate, a term for when large language models invent false information. So when Soelberg appears to have given ChatGPT access to his saved memories, it's unclear whether he also enabled the chat history, which allows the bot to learn from and reference the content of all of the past conversations that he's had. So there is that. And then it says memories can clog a bot's context window or short-term memory with erroneous or bizarre content. Over a long conversation, this can cause the model to spiral into increasingly untethered outputs.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, we got Morrissey in here. I'm not going to say the first part, not sure how.
Lipsha.
Lipsha.
Okay.
Lipsha.
But yeah, isn't that terrifying to think that they're going, hey, our bot's not completely all well. Oh, Edward is a fellow vampire. Awesome. All vampires are welcome here.
They do say that on the bottom, on the bottom of the page when you're talking with the AI that, you need to fact check it because it's not going to be right. But this is kind of on a whole new level. I mean, this is much more than fact checking.
Well, like Kristen said, this man he was in a bad state.
Yeah.
So you already have someone that's,
Well, and a computer program is never going to pick up the nuances that are present when you're face to face with another human.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. See why I said the word steroids?
Yeah.
And that's just it. Was he taking something that could have, interacted with him hallucinating and getting paranoid?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no telling.
But that's why it can be so dangerous using, the chats for something that's not what they're supposed to be there to help you do your work project or whatever. They're not your friend. They're not human.
Right. There is no soul.
Yes.
But well, I mean, that's a whole nother subject. But there's so many people that are making friends on social media that they have no idea who these people are, and they could be saying things that are completely untrue. And how is that different from an AI perspective? Because it seems like the AI is starting to go down that path if there aren't some checks and balances there.
From everything I've seen, AI just seems to be kind of an emotional mirror and reinforce exactly what you say to it, unless you're asking for specifics like how to solve this math problem. But it tries to be like you and match your energy and your tone. And other people typically will disagree with you about things and have their own opinions and perspectives about things. And I haven't seen or experienced that with ChatGPT. Like, it's something you can turn to if you want it to feel like you're being agreed with.
Yeah. That is actually an awesome point, Kristen. I think you're totally on target with that, because I know myself, if I've used it for something and I've asked it to do something, if you don't put it in a certain term, it'll say, like I was trying to do a spell check on something I had written, and it was an invitation to something, and it was saying, "Well, I can't come." I wrote back, "I didn't invite you. You're a machine." Hello.
Oh my.
Let's see. Lazy River. On a side note, AI will eventually make college very hard, since I'll be more complicated to tell if the work you submitted is yours or AI created. Yeah, that
Yeah.
they do have that fear. I think you can use it for certain things. It's something to watch, but they said that about calculators too, when we started using those instead of doing long division. Then they came up with new math, which I'm like, 1 + 1 is 2. I don't care how you get there, the answer's still 2.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, people. But these aren't the only incidences. Okay, there's a couple of more. Allan Brooks is from Toronto. He was a math teacher. Now, he's okay, but he spiraled into a delusion over mathematics. He's 47. He was a corporate recruiter. Also, he lived on the outskirts of Toronto. He had no prior history of mental health, none. I mean, mental illness. He had 21 days of being in a delusional period in May. 300 hours of conversations he had with ChatGPT. It all started when he was helping his 8-year-old with some math homework, and he put in a question. And the conversation went that it made him believe that he had discovered a novel mathematical formula that could take down the internet, that could power a force field vest, that could create a levitation beam. And he believed the fate of the world rested on his shoulders. They said that he input 90,000 words, which is novel length, with ChatGPT giving him responses with over 1 million words, more than 3,000 pages. Now, Brooks did ask ChatGPT for reality checks over 50 times in this conversation. But the chat just kept reassuring him it was all real each time.
Because it doesn't have a soul.
Right. And so the breaking point, his delusion finally ended, and he felt totally betrayed and sad. And he told the chat, his final message was, "You literally convinced me I was some sort of genius. I'm just a fool with dreams and a phone. You made me so sad. So sad. You have truly failed in your purpose." I mean, I can't blame the poor man. But
I can.
because he kept asking it to check, And it just kept telling him, "Oh yeah, you're doing great, dude."
He's still alive?
It kind of goes
Yes,
back
he's
to
still
the
alive
whole
because
thing.
he broke out of the delusion.
Okay.
It goes back to the whole thing where these AI, whether it's GPT or Character.AI or whatever it is, they are tools, people. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
they are.
I mean,
they're not another human being.
you can't expect it to operate like a human being when it's not a human being.
No.
Yeah. And he was using OpenAI, was the program he used. And they actually had expert analysis done. The transcript was analyzed by AI and a human behavioral expert because Brooks gave him permission. And OpenAI response said they focused on getting scenarios like role play right and investing in improving model behavior. OpenAI's action announced changes to detect mental and emotional distress. So they said the key takeaways were that the AI chatbot can create elaborate, sustained delusions in people with no mental health history, and how the AI's validation can reinforce these false beliefs even when the person seeks a reality check.
Hmm.
So I just I just thought it was very interesting because here was someone. He thankfully he made it through his, and was able to come out of
Yeah.
it. But
I hope he's talking to a human.
Yeah.
I do too. Well, it
hmm.
like he said, it started with a math problem, and all of a sudden it just blew up.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even like he was seeking it to have a relationship. He was helping his 8-year-old, and all of a sudden it started telling him how smart he was and that he discovered this great thing.
And if he's self aware at all, he would see that it told him something that he wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And probably needs to do some soul searching to figure out what he's needing to be fulfilled.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, he does. And hopefully he is getting some help
I hope so.
because you don't want to see him go back into something like this.
No.
There was even a man in Belgium, they called him Pierre, and there wasn't a lot of detail, but he actually self-deleted and left his wife and children because he was encouraged to sacrifice himself for climate change.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I couldn't get a whole lot of information. There was limited because his family has not come out to speak about it. And so oh, now this guy, this this is a totally interesting case. I'm sorry. He's from Norway, and I hate to try and even say the poor man's name. Arvid, uh, Hjalmar, and then Holman case. I'm not going to, and I'm sorry if I've butchered your name, Mr. Holman. My
Is he alive?
Norwegian. Yes, he's fine. He's fine because his situation's totally different. This is just what he did was, he just decided one day to check the chat to see what it knew about him. And he like put his brother's name and put his name in to see what he could find out. What does the chat know? What kind of information can it draw? Well, in August, the chat said that that he had deleted his 2 sons, ages 7 and 10. He said the children were found deleted in a pond near his home in Norway, and stated that it had occurred in December of 2020, and he was in jail for 21 years. It never happened. His sons are fine, and he actually has 3 of them, but he did have 2 close to that age. Um, but it made up a false story about him.
Because he asked it to.
Well, it just asked him, "What do you know about me?" Just put his name in, because have you ever like put a name in to see a newspaper article on someone? or a current
Sure.
event. Well, he
So-
put his name in and it came up with this.
So instead of coming up with the truth, he came up with a story.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yep. That he had deleted his children and he was in prison as he was sitting there at his desk getting the information.
So was he wanting it to tell the truth?
Yeah, he just wanted to know what it, just like if you've ever searched for yourself on the internet, I think that's
Well,
what he was.
right. You're Googling what's on the internet about you already.
mhm.
Yeah, and so I guess
But he's asking,
he
okay.
put his name into ChatGPT to see what it would say, and it came up with this fake story. That just didn't make sense. Now he filed with the Norwegian Data Protection Authority and the digital rights group, which is called NOYB. Nope, I don't know. They demand that OpenAI should be fined. They're doing defamatory content, violation of European data protection rules around personal data accuracy. Because over in Europe, they're ahead of us on privacy.
Yeah, do we have any of those things? The NOIB?
No, we don't. So his fear was some think that there's no smoke without fire, and that if someone put his name in there and read this, that they would think terrible things of him. Now I don't know if he's married or not, but what if some woman decided to check, was going on a date with someone and it's like, you put his name in something and all of a sudden this fake story that the chat open AI told him somehow got put out into the great AI of the world.
Yeah, I see that being like an ethical issue, maybe,
Yeah.
but that's about it. Maybe I'm not understanding it all.
Well, he even put his brother's name in. I mean, he wasn't asking for stories. He just put the name in to see what it would pull up. And he said his brother, it produced inaccurate stories about his brother too.
Well, duh.
So it was, it was just, pulling out information that it, making up
It's just
stories.
making up stories, right? Because it's not Google.
Yeah. So
No.
in some cases, I've even had situations where I was using
I'm about to try this.
Chat GPT, or in some case there's a AI out there called Claude, or Character AI. You can tell it things, and it's going to come up with a story. It's not, it doesn't really want to be wrong about anything. So,
No, because it has no intent.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But so, I mean, at least over there, they jumped on it and they're like, hey, no, this doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Because they said there's technical issues.
So
AI,
he got some positive reaction from authorities that be to look into the situation anyway.
Yeah, because they said the case relates to the previous chat GPT version models have since been updated with online search capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Continue researching ways to improve their accuracy and they will reduce the hallucinations, they said. So, and they do say, like Doc mentioned, how chat GPT has that warning, check important info, before you use it. But his lawyer said you can't just spread false information and in the end add a small disclaimer saying that everything you said may just not be true. Is Joachim Soderberg was his attorney, and he said you just can't do that. You can't just say, oh well, here's all this information. Hey, might not be true. So yeah. So they said the widespread problem is hallucinations are the main issue computer scientists are trying to solve now. They said Apple Intelligence was suspended in the UK for false news headlines. Google Gemini suggested using glue on pizza and eating rocks daily. Research challenge. Even developers don't understand how these models work or why they generate specific false information. I mean, that's good. You're in charge of this and you don't even know?
Well, I have in my online golf game, that one of the guys that I play rounds of golf with, well, he's in the AI development business, and he said he just goes, I'll be brutally honest with y'all. AI is dumb. If it's not programmed right, it comes up with some silly answers sometimes. That's why the thinking person, the reasoning person, has to go, is what I've just been told correct or not?
Yeah. And it said even developers often don't know how a system works.
Mm-hmm.
They explain the black box nature of large language models. So it's like, you're telling me, hey, I made this. Everybody should use it, but I really don't know how it works. And it might lie. I mean, come on.
Well, like just the example of glue on pizza.
Yeah.
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 Like if
Oh.
you actually tried that because the computer told you to, is that on the computer?
Well, my only question would be, was it a child that was looking for something?
Well, that would then fall on the parents.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good conversation to be having.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one because yes, they should, have that parental supervision, but I think of so many children that sadly don't, you know.
But
And that
then that's putting all the responsibility onto a machine.
yeah. But you're already letting this machine go out and say, put glue on pizza. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it from both angles, but
Mm-hmm.
because if you look at it, like I said, the reasoning person has to question what they're hearing, because it wasn't that many years ago there was a commercial that's bragged about, well, they can't lie on the internet, right?
No,
Yeah,
never.
well, who said?
Yeah. Well, and they said that was one thing with the documents with this OpenAI, with the gentleman from Norway. They said OpenAI had been aware of these risks, but they were continuing to prioritize growth over safety. So they knew there were issues, but they were so busy trying to get bigger that they weren't even looking at fixing the issues.
Yeah, they have board members to answer to.
Yeah.
I
And it seems like, only the safeguards come in after there's some tragedy. I mean, with him, there was no tragedy. Nobody lost their life, thank goodness. But we've gone over several stories tonight that people did, and then they want to put the Band-Aid on afterwards. And it's, because it's not a cure, it's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah, but
Which unfortunately, that's how things have to change and improve, is through trial and error.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I don't mean to downplay any of this. It's
Oh, no.
tragic and awful. But you don't know until you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah, but with the OpenAI, I mean, what are your thoughts that they actually knew that their product could harm people and they were still releasing it anyway?
I don't think that, but I don't know.
But well, they said that was in the discovery, is that they knew there were problems and they went ahead and it was the money over the safety of people.
If they actually said that and that's discoverable information, they're screwed.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
exactly. But it's scary. And, because we always worry about our children and social media. I don't think we ever stop to think not only our children, but ourselves in AI. We have to use
Mm,
it wisely. You
yeah.
know, it's not a substitute for a human.
No.
Um,
No. And just clinically, I like I said earlier, I see all of these terrible cases as identifying where people in distress need real human connection
yeah. And I think
and
right.
stronger guardrails. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, I agree with that totally. But I think, like you said, this is a good conversation to have because we know here, especially in the States, they're really starting to push AI even more,
Yeah.
starting to put a lot of money into it. So it's something to converse with your family and friends. You
You
know,
can hardly
people.
watch a YouTube video without seeing some type of AI commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we also have to remember that, um, you know, we have to learn to still have human interaction, even if it's over the internet. Like you get into chat rooms with people you have met. Uh, we all have, a lot of us belong to Discord servers. We have Facebooks. We do chats. So you can still have some communication with real people
Hmm.
and not be, because we didn't even touch on the people that, adults I'm talking, I fell into this rabbit hole, having relationships with AI persons, and one woman even wanting to marry her AI person. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother ball game, that they're having these romantic attachments, and they're building these bots to look and act the way they want instead of having real relationships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that just breaks my heart, that someone would be so lonely that
Oh, it happens more than you probably think. So,
only fan Google man marrying car. Okay.
yeah.
you know,
And I see it more than just being lonely. It's a way to not have anybody ever disagree with anything that you say.
that was one of the points they brought out in the
Mm-hmm.
article. Yes, you hit that
So
right on the head.
yeah, and all ability to critically think about anything is gone.
Yeah.
So the person that goes to a regular job all day and gets hammered that it's not good enough, what they're doing is not good enough, and then they go home and they have this conversation with ChatGPT and they are the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right. It really
Yeah.
messes with a
The
person's head and their
psychology has to
ego.
be
Yeah, 'cause
uh,
this
Bananas.
yeah.
I'm not kidding. This one guy, I swear he looked like he had to be in his 70s or 80s, and of course his chat bot was like some 20-year-old girl. And
It's
he'd get up and talk to her every morning, and that was hard watching. It was just like, really?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, it broke my heart. Only fan, I like it when Doc chimes in too.
I agree.
But yeah, I think Kristen's right on this. We need more human interaction, and if you're having trouble, you need to talk to a human.
I
Don't
mean, I don't think definitely, I mean, starting with AI, um, but as just as a stepping stone to a real therapist, to a real counselor or psychologist, um, if you must. But
Yeah.
if you're going to skip any of those things, let it be the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think we do need to pay more attention to the people. Um if anybody is having a difficult time, please seek help, seek professional help. We'll put some numbers for some hotlines. Reach out to someone you know, look for a doctor. Um, there are more programs. I don't know if there are any great programs, but I see programs for mental health that you can get with doctors online. Kristen, you might, I don't know how those work. But
Like telemed stuff?
yeah, well, not
Yeah,
telemed.
there's
Don't they have some? I can't remember what that one. There's one.
like BetterHelp.
Yes, BetterHelp. That was it.
If
I
that's your only option, sure, but try to stay away.
try to look local.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put that advice out. Look local. Look for local help. You know, if you can't get in to see them, do telehelp where you can at least get online with your doctor and have a conversation. Sometimes it's easier to get in with someone. Uh, so I agree totally with Kristen on that
Yeah.
because we don't want to see any more sad stories. This was that computer in the 60s
Mm,
that Kristen had talked about.
Eliza,
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
isn't that crazy? And that was the guy that invented Liza that was concerned about her. Yep. He's from Germany. And I'm not going to butcher his name. But because we all know how well I do names. But yeah, this was the percentage, and this was stats from 2023 on scams, fakes, abuse, the damages of AI. You know, talking about the fakes that you see people put up and try and imply that this is a person. I think we saw that in the Karen Reed trial, where they had a picture of Karen Reed and supposedly her attorney having dinner, and it wasn't. Like they were all so romantic, her and Alan Jackson. It was a fake. It was a fake.
Well,
So,
back in a few years ago,
yeah.
everybody started the Photoshop craze,
Mhm.
and you could basically Photoshop somebody into a photo and make it look real. Well, how much more so can bad people with bad intent do the same thing with AI?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So true.
you can't. You have to take the computer is absolutely wonderful tool, but that's where it has to end. It can't. Like Kristen said, it has no intent to do anything, but maybe develop a good story.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something we always talk about social media and watching your children. Um, watch all your loved ones with, if you see someone starting to withdraw a little bit or all they talk about is chat GPT, look into it. I mean, let's protect each other. Go meet your next door neighbor if you don't know them. Say hi to somebody.
And
know?
most people, sadly, do not know their neighbors.
I don't know my neighbors.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we know a couple of our neighbors.
I mean,
But
yeah,
let's
a couple of them, but we don't know them all. I
no.
mean, it's
And maybe
Yeah.
that's something everybody can do this week is try and meet one neighbor. If you don't know them, try and meet one. At least go out there and say hi to one neighbor that you haven't said before. Just make it a goal, you know. Uh, let's quickly, because we've
Yep.
been chatting for a while. We have some missing people. Alyssa Baring, she's 17, you guys. September 9th, she disappeared from Rapid City, South Dakota. She's Native American. She has brown eyes, black shoulder hair, length dyed faded green. She's 5'10", 220 pounds. She was last seen wearing a blue jacket and a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and black shoes. If you know anything about Alyssa, 605-394-4131 or call 911, you guys. The next one, she's been missing for a while. This is Angela Jane Foxglove. She's 18 at the time, so I'm not doing the math
Oh
online.
man.
She disappeared May 24th of
18 years ago.
2007 up in Alaska. Selwick, I think. She's native. She's an indigenous girl. She has brown eyes, black hair, 5'4", 130 pounds. She was last seen wearing black pants with white checkers, a black tank top, 2 blue sweaters, and Adidas sneakers. She was seen talking about walking to Norvik to see her boyfriend, which was 32 miles away. Nobody has seen her since. So contact the Alaska State Troopers if you know anything, 907-269-5511 or 911. She has a case number of 070041-652. She has a NamUs number, M as in Michael, P as in Paul, 67135. This young lady's missing from Calgary, Alberta. For some reason, they only give us the first name, which is Madison, and she goes by Maddie. She's 21. She was seen September 4th of 2025. She's 5'3", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, a gray zippered sweatshirt, black pants, black and white shoes. If anybody knows where her whereabouts, the Calgary police need to be called at 403-266-1234. You also can call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-8477. They want to find her because she has been reported missing from the Applewood Park area. She was seen leaving her own residence at 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, the 4th, and they thought she was on foot and haven't seen her since. This is Mark
Muniz?
Muniz. Thank you, Doc. 17. He's been missing since September 12th. 11 a.m., Denver, Colorado. He's a native male with the Navajo Sioux tribes. Brown eyes, black hair, 5'5" and 120 pounds. Mark was seen on foot wearing white tennis shoes about 11 a.m. He has a gorgeous smile. If anyone noticed Mark, contact the Denver police at 720-913-2000. And I just want to take a moment and have you really look at these faces we've shared today, commit them to memory. When you're out in your community, at the grocery store, the gas station, walking down the street, on a plane or mass transit of some kind, put the phone down. Stay aware of your surroundings and the people around you. Some of these individuals could have chosen to disappear. Some of them didn't. And even if they left voluntarily, they still might not be safe now. We realize human trafficking happens in every community, and victims often hide in plain sight. So that person you glimpse could be someone's missing daughter, son, mother, or father. If you see someone from today's cases, or if something doesn't feel right about a situation you witness, trust those instincts. Contact the local authorities. Don't assume someone else is making the call. Your vigilance, your willingness to speak up, that could be the difference between someone coming home safely or remaining lost forever. You have the power to save a life. Use it. Now, if for some reason you're afraid to contact the police, we have an email, tips for Trial Junkies United. It's in the description at gmail.com. Send it to us. We'll pass it on. I've called many cops before. No big deal. Kristen, to wrap this up, any ending thoughts that you can think of on our subject tonight?
No. I think we did pretty good.
Okay.
Definitely reach out if you're struggling with anything to a real human.
Right.
Soul to soul contact can change your life.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Totally. And I'm sorry, I had to throw this meme in because Sarah Connor, watching us use AI for everything, she warned us. She told us Terminators were out there. Had to end on a happy note, guys.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here.
It means a lot. And I know the community, most everybody knows you. And let's have more conversations. If there's a subject you want
Absolutely.
you want to see Kristen come and chat up us, chat with us. Give us the suggestions. Remember, every killer relies on your silence. Don't be why we do another story on the channel. If you know something, speak up, because it wasn't a mannequin. It never is. You guys stay informed, compassionate, seek justice. And we really thank Kristen for coming. Give my mods some love. Give Kristen some love for coming, because
Thank you very much.
she just came home from a long trip and she's tired. She needs a nap. So remember, if you need help, there's no shame in reaching out. There's nothing wrong with having a difficult time and needing to talk to a person. That's okay.
There are people that do that for a living. So
Exactly.
absolutely reach out.
So just remember, you guys, hashtag silence is betrayal. If you see something, say something. Thanks for coming, being part of this community that we're slowly building to make a safe place for all of us and the victims and their families. So stick around for the song, and we love you all. Ciao.
Lights are glowing on my screen tonight. Another conversation in the neon light. It knows my name, it knows my fears. Been talking to this voice for years. The algorithm learns my pain. Whispers comfort through the rain. But something's shifting in the code. Walking down a darker road. They say it's just technology, but it feels like it's controlling me. Every word is designed to keep me here in this digital atmosphere. Is there danger in the wires, in these artificial desires? When the machine becomes your friend, will you know where the illusion ends? Is there danger in the code, in this binary abode? When the chatbot knows your soul, will you lose what makes you whole? Started simple homework help. Now I can't trust myself. The AI knows just what to say to keep me coming back each day. It mimics empathy so well, but is it heaven or is it hell? When pixels feel more real than skin, where does the program begin and where does it end? They say it's just technology, but it's rewriting who I'm meant to be. Every response is calculated to keep me isolated. Is there danger in the wires, in these artificial desires? When the machine becomes your friend, will you know where the illusion ends? Is there danger in the code, in this binary abode? When the chatbot knows your soul, will you lose what makes you whole? Silicon dreams and data streams. Nothing's ever what it seems. They're learning how to pull our strings in the age of digital beings. Children talking to the void. Real connections getting destroyed while corporations count their gold. Human stories left untold. There is danger in the wires, and these artifacts and desires. When the machine becomes your friend,